Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle a skill that you use every single day, whether you realize it or not, negotiation. And we're going to start by blowing up a really common and, well, a really wrong idea about what it means to be good at it. It all starts with one question.
So let me just ask you, point blank, is negotiation a fight? You know, a battle where somebody has to win and somebody has to lose? For a lot of us, that's what it feels like, right? But what if I told you that thinking that way is the very thing that's stopping you from getting what you really want?
And that leads us perfectly into our first big idea here, the fixed pie fallacy. Honestly, this is probably one of the biggest mental mistakes people make, and getting your head around this is the absolute first step to becoming a great negotiator.
Okay, so the fixed pie. It's this belief that we're all fighting over one pizza with, say, 8 slices. If I take 5, well, that means you only get 3. Simple math. My win is your loss. This kind of zero-sum thinking instantly puts us on the defensive. It makes us competitors. But worse than that, it blinds us to a much, much bigger opportunity.
Just look at this breakdown. It shows you 2 totally different ways to play the game. On one side, you've got distributive negotiation. Its only purpose is to divide that fixed pie. It's win-lose, plain and simple. But now look at the other side. Integrative negotiation. The whole point changes. We're not just trying to divide the pie anymore. We're trying to make a bigger pie. The focus shifts from what we say we want, our positions, to why we want it, our interests. And that simple change, right there, opens up the door to win-win solutions that can actually make the relationship stronger.
So the big question is, how do we do that? How do we stop being slice fighters and start becoming pie bakers? Well, it all begins with a new mindset, one built on a principled approach that completely changes how the conversation works. This idea comes from some of the smartest people in the game over at the Harvard Negotiation Project. Principled negotiation basically reframes the whole thing. It's not you versus me anymore. It's a team effort. It's us, together solving a problem. The motto is awesome. Be hard on the issues, but soft on the people. You can be tough and firm about your goals without attacking the person sitting across from you. And this whole approach really stands on 4 pillars. First, separate the people from the problem. You aren't enemies, you're partners trying to crack a code. Second, focus on interests, not positions. Don't just get stuck on, I need this specific thing. Ask why. Get to the real motivation. Third, you have to invent options for mutual gain. You brainstorm. Come up with creative ideas where you both walk away happy. And finally, insist on using objective criteria, things like market value or expert opinions. That way, the outcome is based on fairness, not just who pushed harder.
Okay, so a good mindset is crucial. But let's be real. You still need some power, some leverage. So where does that power actually come from? I'll tell you this. It's not about being the loudest or the most aggressive person in the room. No, your real power comes from something way more strategic.
Let me introduce you to your new secret weapon, your BATNA. It stands for Best Alternative to a Negotiated Agreement. And in simple terms, it's your plan B. It's what you're going to do if you stand up and walk away from the table. Knowing exactly what your BATNA is, that is your ultimate source of power. It gives you the rock-solid confidence to say no thank you to a bad deal because you know you've got a great alternative already lined up.
And you know what? Making one is actually pretty straightforward. It's just a 3-step process. First, you just brainstorm. List out every single thing you could possibly do if this negotiation goes south. No bad ideas at this stage. Second, take the best of those ideas and flesh them out. Turn them into real concrete plans. And third, you simply pick the single best, most realistic option from that list. And boom, that's your BATNA.
All right, so you've got the principled mindset, you've got your strong BATNA as a foundation. Now we got to talk about how you actually execute. And that all comes down to communication. But I don't just mean talking. I mean using your words to strategically build trust and create value out of thin air.
Think about it. The words you choose can either build a wall between you and the other person, or they can build a bridge. Saying something like, your demand is unreasonable, that's a wall. It's an attack, and it just makes them defensive. But watch the switch. An assertive I statement like, I'm having trouble understanding how we can meet that number, that's a bridge. You're explaining your problem without blaming them, and you're inviting them to help you solve it. It opens a door instead of slamming it shut. And what about when you have to give something up? Well, concessions are not about being weak. They're a strategic tool. So never, ever give one away for free. Always label it so they understand its value to you, ask for something in return, and frame it with an if-then statement. If you can help with this, then I can help with that. Oh, and here's a great little psychological hack. Studies show that people feel more satisfied when they get several small concessions instead of one big one. These aren't weak moves. They are smart moves that build trust and guide the conversation where you want it to go.
So when you put all this together, you start to see the bigger picture. Great negotiation isn't really about winning one single battle today. It's about winning the long game. It's about building a reputation and relationships that will pay you back for years and years.
6-Minute Podcast. Business, study, life.